Hello again. I'm Jennifer with Watercolor Girlfriend, and today we like to paint here a lot of times in our watercolor sketchbooks, our journals, that kind of thing. Feel free to paint in your regular papers as well. But today we are going to do a little kind of like urban sketching. If you haven't heard of it, it's just a lot of fun. And then you watercolor paint afterwards. And you can do it tight the way I've done it here, adding shadows and going, in all of the areas. You can also be a looser feel and not stay within all the lines and that kind of thing. And I have another video coming up where I show you some of that, and you can see it. And I have a fun tree video where we, work much looser, and it's real, easy going and just fun to fill in large blocks of color. And I think I have one on beets, a fun veggie to paint. It's so colorful and pretty, and that's a real loose one as well. That's a good one to watch. But if you haven't done any urban landscape or urban outdoor sketching or anything, it can be a lot of fun, and it's a great way to capture, like when you went on a trip and you wanted to do something other than just taking a picture or, just enjoying the space. You wanted to take a few minutes. And I always try to keep my paintings at about 30 minutes so you can finish it in a good amount of time, a smaller window during your day. And then, encourage you to get out and just spend 30 minutes. It doesn't have to take you all day or, even an hour, because, sometimes you need to get there, set up, it all adds up into your day. But these are some of my favorite. I do like to show some of the ink pens that I like to use for this. And this one I painted after doing the ink work. So that's something to take into consideration. So these are, 4 of the ones that I really like. And this one's the regular Sharpie, right? And this is an extra fine, ultra fine, but it's really waterproof. It's a little thicker, even though it says ultra fine, than some of the other pens that I have here, but it's like instantly waterproof and instantly dry. So it's definitely one to consider, and you can get them, inexpensively everywhere. Then one of my favorites is the Pilot Precise. This is the V5. This is an extra fine. It's a roller ball. I think it's just delightful. You do need to wait for that to dry, however, and kind of set. Otherwise, it will bleed. Some people like that look. It can be fun when you do animals, that kind of thing, and use that just as a color. And then this one, which I'm still on the fence about, and this is the Sharpie. It's a pen, and it's more like the original Sharpie, so it's like a marker tip instead of a roller ball. And I thought it was lovely, but I think I got an old batch, so mine dried up so fast. I got a 4-pack, but now I have to go through them so fast. But it does dry nice. I find it's even thinner than the Sharpie Ultra Fine, and it's waterproof as well. But I did need to let that set as well before painting over it. I don't know how long, a few minutes. You could even try a little bit and see how it goes. Depending on your climate or the situation that's going on with the weather, it could take longer. So this is the new one I just got, and this is also a Pilot. And it's really nice. It is a fountain pen. Haven't tried those before, but I'm exploring that. And this is kind of the kiddie one. Let's see if I have the oh, you can see our bathroom there. I was thinking maybe I would put up a doodah in front of that, a screen. I haven't gotten there yet, but this is it. It kind of looks like it's made for kids, but adults can use it too. And this is the extra fine, and it's a clear, and it's not the waterproof ink. So I bought something else, and everybody says this stuff is fantastic, and it is waterproof. So as I'm done using this, then I will replace it with that. And this is like $30. It's 20. And so that has, if you want to get into fountain pens, this is a good way to start off. Right now it's about 11 bucks, so that you can, you know, give it a try and see how you like it. It's not something, the way it is now, it's not waterproof ink, so I have to use it afterwards, which is fine. But it's going to take me a little while to go through that so that I can replace it. And I think you can replace even just what's in there. Got to use like a syringe to transfer it. It's a whole thing. But I wanted to try it, and I wanted to see if it was worth the trouble to, you know, save the environment a little, and something that's reusable, and just get a feel for whether I like the fountain pen and the nib kind of thing. Because, you know, I could transfer that experience into using dip pens. I don't know, has anybody used dip pens? You know, leave some comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. You guys are coming by and you're watching the videos. I'd love to hear what's on your mind and what you're thinking when it comes to the stuff we're talking about. So, you know, you might want to stick with these if you're not interested in the stuff that comes with a fountain pen and cleaning it and that kind of thing. But I'll tell you, I've used it a number of times already, and it's not clogging. And I'm in a dry climate right now, and it's not, you know, shooting out of there, causing a mess. And I haven't had to, I mean, it doesn't even look like I've used much of the ink at all. So it's going to last quite a while, which are all things I'm like, oh, you know, am I going to paint draw one thing and it's going to be time to replace it? Or is it going to make a giant mess? Or am I going to travel with it and it's going to make a mess? And so again, this is the Pilot Kakuno. I think that's how you pronounce it. So that could be a nice one to start with. And they come in different sizes. And I don't know that you can switch out the nibs. It's a whole thing. So anyway, we are going to paint a place that me and my family explored earlier this year. And instead of painting while I was there, I took some pictures and brought them back. And then I painted them in my space. And I'll show you my space real quick. Here we are on TV. And I like to mention that because that's also an option. You know, you're enjoying yourself, you're out to lunch, or, you know, you're driving through an area. It was very cold and very rainy, so we couldn't really get out and explore as much as we wanted to. So I took a bunch of pictures, I brought them back, and then I could, you know, spend the time that I wanted to, and I could draw it and let it sit for a few minutes so it dried and whatever, do something else with my day, and then come back and paint it. And I still have this nice memory. I'm going to take a nice picture of it. I'm going to put it on my digital frame in our kitchen, and I can see it all the time. And it's a fun way to expand on your trip, right? And we'll always, it's like, oh yeah, that was such a cute place. And, you know, we'll like to go back. It's a different feel than a photo. It doesn't have us in there, but you could certainly add some people or add yourself or your pet or, you know, whatever you bring with you or that kind of thing. So again, this is Bisbee, Arizona, and it's kind of their downtown, one of their downtown areas. And I hope you enjoy. I might pop in and chat a little bit over the drawing. Otherwise, I'll play some nice music and you have fun. I hope it'll inspire you to do paint some of your pictures. I bet you have something in your phone, you know, and you just prop it up and do some painting, and especially if it's chilly out still, and you can have a nice memory of when you went on a lovely trip. Okay, have fun. Okay, so we're getting started off, and I fast forwarded this some, but if it's not fast enough for you, you can just not listen in and take off and fast forward it more for yourself. That's fine. But this is more some urban sketching, right? Where you're watercolor painting after. So this helps you work on your perspective and composition and getting everything that you want to include into one 5x7 area. Now, something I like to also mention is don't get too hung up on being perfect. That's one thing I just love about urban sketching and getting a project done in half an hour. Just try to breathe and have a good time and know that once you have finished it, it's gonna look awesome and you're gonna be so excited to have something from your trip other than only photos. This is something a little more special, right? And you'll also notice while I'm drawing, I am not perfect, and I really love that look. I love that stuff is kind of crookedy and stuff isn't quite perspectively correct, and oh, it's a squiggle over here, and oops, that window's touching the next window. I think it really adds some fun character that my neighbor isn't going to be able to replicate. This is my interpretation, this is my creative expression, and it's not going to look like everyone else's that is, studying landscape drawing or painting. And like I said, a couple of the reasons is you're working quickly and you're just having a good time and relaxing and deep breathing. Sometimes that really helps with this kind of thing. So you can see I've added some of the perspective with the road itself, and that helps lead you into the piece, which is a really nice way to capture your perspective with a road that leads you in, or some lines that bring you from the front to the back. And it also helps when you can create some depth, like I'm doing here, where I have the mountain in the back and it's kind of a layered look. So that can also help with your feeling of depth and moving through a piece and different perspectives like you see here. So I also wanted to mention the marker, the pen, the ink pen that I'm using. So that is the Sharpie one, and you can see it's doing a nice job. It's easy, it's not kind of fading away. It's got a nice fine line to it, and it works very well, and fitting all the little lines in tight spaces. I thought it turned out just fine, and I'll enjoy using the rest of I have a 4-pack that I'm using. I'll enjoy using the rest of them, and then I will wonder and consider whether I'm gonna order those again. Yeah, we'll see. My Pilot is still the favorite, that roller ball that I have, and you can get those, I think, as a refillable. That's a whole other, that's a whole other video. So you just enjoy some of this, and I'm going to get into painting as well shortly. In a couple of seconds here, we're going to get into the painting part. It's fun to just watch, isn't it? Now, another thing you don't really have to worry about are colors. Pick the colors you like. I enjoy mixing as I go. This is one of my travel palettes. It's, an inexpensive little plastic palette, and I'm sorry you can't see the whole thing, or you wouldn't be able to see the painting. I'd be zoomed out so far. And, but it looks basically the same, right? On the other side, it has a room for your thumb as well if you want to hold it while you're standing or working outside. And that, it's just a nice little travel. It folds up. It dries pretty quickly in that area. It gives you a lot of space to work. See, you just cover the whole thing. You don't have to be so particular about avoiding specific lines. I want to think about where I want to put those so that I include some of the trim. Wanted that a different color. I did nicely avoid the windows, but again, try not to worry about it and have a good time. And you can always do this 2, 3, 4, 5 more times if you wanted to, and you can do it from different perspectives and different colors and see which one you like. There are a number of people that enjoy doing that, and that is a great way to learn and compare what you like and what you don't like, and then you can think about what would I do next time. Like, there's a couple of things in this painting where I'm like, I wish I would have done something different, and I will next time, every time you build on it. So I don't know if I've mentioned in the past, but you see that piece of paper on the left here, that is my wiping page, and it's so nice to have to wipe off your brush before getting rid of the rest in water. Then your water stays cleaner longer, but you can also try out the colors that you have on the wiping page, the wiping paper, and then you can use that wiping paper later for, I don't know, if you don't use it on the back and it's plain on the back, you can write a little note on it, send it to your friend. It's fun. I didn't want to get too ahead of myself here, but you can see how, I kind of liked that pink, but I also wanted to glaze over after it's dry, or just a thin undercoating to make it kind of look like this orangey, reddy, pinky, not the exact same color as what's across the street there, and it kind of had this stucco feel, and so I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna over the top, and yeah, I liked it. And that's one way you can get those things to dry faster, is with a little cloth and just absorb whatever you didn't like, or you can kind of scrub it off with a little water. I guess we're taking a little break there. All right, so I wanted a little bit of a gray look for this one, so I'm just using a really light black. You could even use like the ink and get started right away after you do the drawing, and you can spread around that ink a little. That can give you a nice gray color. I actually really like that. And yeah. If you're looking for more information about the stuff I like to talk about with watercolor painting, the paints I like to use, and the palettes, and all those fun things, I did a nice article about choosing your papers, because sometimes that can be kind of tough, especially if you order what you use for your supplies and you can't really touch the paper right before you buy it. I do some nice articles over on my website you can check out. I have the link in the bottom in the description, and you can come by and see some more in-depth stuff that I talk about. Maybe some more ideas. You can see all the paintings that I do over there, and it can help inspire you and give you some ideas for what you want to paint for yourself next time. You see I'm filling in the windows and some of the doors, and I used like a light, like a little bit of black wash, but I also included some dark blue and mixed it. You can see it there in the upper right. Just did a thin wash over that. You can do any real thing you want. You can even leave it clear, but I think this adds to the character of the painting and gives more color and, you know, makes it a little more fun than just white. Adds a little something, right? And it's a nice color. You could change up the colors. You could add something so it looks like there's light in some of the windows. Like some of them have lights on, you know, inside the buildings. I just did it this way and I enjoyed that. You know, if you have any questions about what I'm doing in these paintings or any of the materials I like to use, please leave those comments below so I can get back to you and share whatever information I have, or, you know, refer you to any other information online that you can explore for yourself. You know, you can ask me what I'm doing over here, or how I do things, how I decide to do what I'm gonna do. And how do you know, a big one people ask is how to find more time to paint. I have a whole article actually on my blog about that. It's not always easy, is it, to fit it all in? And that's one reason I love these 30 minutes. You get in, you paint something, it looks cool, and then you get back to the pressures of life, right? We'll just let you enjoy some more music. So now you can see I decided to paint some of the details in the lower windows where people shop and look, you know, window shop. And it looks like some of them have lights on and some of them have displays and fun things to look at. And that, you know, again, that just adds to some of the charm, and it adds to some of the depth of what you get. So this is an easy technique if you find you just put down a whole blob of paint and you didn't mean to, or it got a little carried away. You can just come back, get rid of some of that paint on your brush and just come back and kind of soak it up, right? And you can use it again somewhere else, or you can just wipe it off there again on the wiping, I haven't come up with a better name for that, the wiping page. And you can see I'm adding some shadows. It was such a fun painting, such a fun subject matter. I can't wait to put it on our digital frame. Use your finger, why not? You know, if you want to do some other kind of painting, I do other urban drawings like this, and I also do other sketches and stuff even when I'm outside, but not like urban, or not even really subject matter in front of me. It doesn't have to be always a landscape or a cityscape, that kind of thing. You can see a lot of other fun videos on my channel to inspire you or just to enjoy. It can be so fun to just watch. I even enjoy watching my own. Oh, that's nice. Why did she choose that? Okay, more music. So I wanted to add a little bit more there and just create a little more interest with some of the sketching and a little darker areas, that kind of thing. And I did want to comment on looking back at some of the paintings you do and then doing other things next time and stuff you don't like about the paintings that you do. And the reason I mention that is because that bee looks just terrible. I do not like it. And what would I do next time? You know, I think it's maybe a little too thick, a little too big, a little too high. Here's a picture of a bee. It could be a little smaller and maybe less ink. I still like the painting, but you know, this is just one of those things I mentioned, that take a look at your painting for next time and see what you'd change. This is kind of wrapping up. You'll see I painted a nice blue sky up there and just finishing it off. Remember to sign your work. Always sign your work and maybe date it so you know. You can even write down the name of it in the corner or something to remember. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it inspires you to do some watercolor painting, maybe some sketching of the places you visited, or even to break out your watercolor painting kit while you're out there enjoying your vacation. But now you know you don't even need to do that. You can bring some of the pictures back with you. It can be a lot of fun. I hope that you'll check me out online, other places too, visit with me, and we can connect over on Instagram at Watercolor Girlfriend, Facebook if anybody's still over there. I'm Watercolor Girlfriend as well. And I hope you have a wonderful time painting, and we'll see you next time. Bye.